Welcome everyone to part 2 on Does Crime Really Pay in Starfield? This video is going to analyze the profitability of boarding and then selling ships. This isn't technically considered a crime in Starfield, but it definitely feels like it would be since you're technically a pirate, pillaging and selling those plundered weapons and gear for cold hard credits. As you know, there's a large number of hostile ships in Starfield, so gathering all this data takes a long time. To get started, I only gathered data on Crimson Fleet ships. I may consider making additional videos on other ship types, such as Spacer and Ecliptic, but for now, I consider Crimson Fleet to be the most commonly encountered ship. All of these Crimson Fleet ship locations I got from the mission boards, which also include a bounty, which overall helps increase the profitability since you earn some credits from that. Before I start, I wanted to clarify some influencing factors that may alter your experience if you care to try to replicate this. First, all this data was gathered when I was over level 90. This affects the grade of weapons I find, which for the most part were advanced. Obviously, advanced weapons sell for more and do make up a large percentage of the overall credits earned. Second, being over level 90, I have invested in my ship, so I am able to fight the higher level ships, which sell for more. If you're at a lower level or haven't upgraded your ship, you may not be able to engage the more difficult ships, and thus your overall profitability is lower until you level up. Now that we have that covered, we're going to go over the profitability data over the ships I've stolen and sold. The process I use is always the same: grab a bounty, fly to the location, and hope that it's a single ship. Sometimes there's multiple ships, and if that's the case, it's much more difficult to be able to survive to board that ship. It's not impossible though. Typically, if it's one of the best ships to board, I do take out the other ships and then disable the engines and board the main ship that I'm interested in. I run around the ship gunning down everyone, looting their weapons and gear, while on the lookout for any contraband items. I found ships with 0 and sometimes 3 contraband items, but never more than 3. Once I think I found all the contraband, I enter the pilot's chair and undock from my original ship. If I found contraband, I either fly to the Den or Red Mile. I do like Red Mile better because there's a ship vendor there where I can sell 1 or 2 ships before their supply of credits is dwindled. The bartender at Red Mile also will buy stolen goods or contraband, which obviously helps a ton. Also, in the trade authority at the Den, they will also buy contraband. Both the Den and Red Mile do not have contraband scanners on approach. That is why I go there. I usually don't sell anything to these vendors because I want them to have credits available for any contraband items I find. You can always wait 48 UT hours for their credits to replenish. That's always an option. Since some of the ships are very large, it is sometimes difficult to find all the contraband on it. So a good tip I use is if you pretend you're going to fly to like Aquila City or New Atlantis, if the city location icon is darkened, then you probably have contraband somewhere on board. With that in mind, you can either try to then, get up from your seat and try to find it on your ship, or if it is a large ship and there's just so many nooks and crannies, sometimes I just enter that city. Obviously, I'm going to get caught, and then I'm going to get arrested. I'll pay a small fine and have any stolen or contraband taken. But you end up fast traveling to the jail, and there's always a crate with stolen and contraband items, and they're pretty easy just to re-steal. Once I sell the contraband, I sell the ship. But first, to be able to sell the ship, you have to change your home ship and register your stolen ship. Register your stolen ship in your menu by pausing it and go to the bottom left quadrant. Scroll to your ship and register it that way. It's much cheaper than going to a Starship vendor to register. You can check it out for yourself to see the big difference. Once you sell the stolen ship, I go to all the major cities to then sell all my stolen gear and miscellaneous items. Once you sell your ship, it adds up to 2,000 credits worth of miscellaneous items from that stolen ship that you just sold to your current home ship's cargo bay. So make sure you go to the miscellaneous tab and sell all of those. So now here is my total profits broken down by the ship name. As you can see, the higher the number after the name of the ship, the better quality the ship is, and therefore it sells for more. That's pretty obvious. Taking into consideration all the gear, miscellaneous items, and ship value, for Crimson Fleet ships, the right is the best ship to strive for. Banshee types come in second. There is a big leap between these two and the remaining ships. So the smart thing to do would be just to focus on these two ship types, the Banshee and the right, to maximize profitability. So to help us seek out these higher quality ships, I found that the location you accept the bounties influences the quality of the ship. New Atlantis usually has low quality ships such as Ghosts and Phantoms, while outposts on level 75 planets will usually have a higher likelihood of having Banshee or Right ships. I already had a couple mining outposts out in the level 75 star systems, so I just added a mission board to those outposts and just travel there to accept any bounties that I want to do. Another thing to note is the quality of the ship doesn't affect the miscellaneous totals, just the actual ship value. For example, the Right 2 and 3 have the same number of enemies inside available to loot. However, the Right 3 has better ship components, so obviously it sells for a bit more. So the more enemies that are inside the ship, the more weapons you're going to be able to loot, and therefore the more profit you're going to have. But it also depends kind of on the luck that you draw, that you may loot more expensive weapons from one ship to the other. Such as you may find more mag shears or mag storms on one ship compared to others. Those two weapons sell for many thousands once you get the advanced version, so they definitely help drive up your profit. There's always going to be variability on looted weapons and gear, but you can use these results to help plan your pirating. Here's some quick graphs of my data. As you can see, the ship profit is pretty straightforward, and again gives us some insight which ships are larger and therefore more valuable. The miscellaneous profit is all the weapons, gear, credits earned for each ship. This includes like any of the bounties and credits I find in like the captain stash. The larger the ship, the more enemies and available items there are to sell. This definitely plays into consideration, like all the miscellaneous items you get when you sell a ship. The final graph is adding up these two categories to get the total profit from each ship. You can see that there's a huge variance in it, anywhere from 20,000 to 100,000. So to summarize, pirating ships is a lot of fun and can easily make a ton of credits quickly if you want to buy like a new ship or upgrade your current ship. This is especially true if you focus on Right, Banshee, or even Spectre ships. You can find some really good weapons at high levels since some of the ships have weapon crates. If you sell ships often, however, you'll most likely have to wait for shipyard vendors to refresh their credits. They do end up taking a very long time to naturally refresh their credits. So to speed it up, I travel to Venus, land somewhere, and then just wait somewhere on my ship for 24 local hours. This translates to a huge amount of UT hours. So usually their credits are all refreshed after I do this for 24 local hours. I really did enjoy tracking all this data and seeing the variance of what happens between each of the categories of ships, and will continue to do so. I may end up creating an updated video with more data points for the Crimson Fleet ships, and in addition, adding up any other new tips and findings that I have. Or I can do the same thing with Spacer and Ecliptic ships. I just haven't decided yet. So if you want to be notified if and when these videos are uploaded, please subscribe. This is a new channel and every subscriber helps me grow my channel, and I appreciate everyone. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.